Charleston White has once again found himself at the center of controversy, and this time it isn't about his mouth, his enemies, or the viral headlines that usually follow his name, but about money, trust, and betrayal, as he recently revealed in a fiery video that the popular podcast known as the Danza Project scammed him out his appearance fee. And after giving him a discount out of good faith, he still wasn't paid in full, and now he's officially suing them, with Charleston himself, declaring that he knows for a fact he's going to win this legal battle, a battle that's now become the talk of hip-hop commentary circles, YouTube blogs, and podcast discussions across the nation. And this is the full story with all the drama, details, and energy that make it one of the most compelling sagas Charleston White has ever been a part of. To understand why the situation has caught so much attention, we need to start with who Charleston White is. Because unlike many other personalities who live off their social media presence, Charleston is somebody who has lived a life that's already full of chapters that sound like movie scripts. He was a Texas kid who got caught up in a robbery gone wrong at the age of 14. Ended up in the juvenile system for years, rebuilt his life, went to college, got a degree in criminal justice, created a nonprofit organization to help young people avoid the streets, and then somehow morphed into one of the most unfiltered, controversial, and talked about voices on YouTube and Instagram, constantly weighing in on rappers, street culture, and what he sees as hypocrisy in hip-hop, and love him or hate him. His voice always sparks attention, because Charleston White doesn't back down from anyone. Please do not forget to like this video, share, and subscribe to this channel if you want more updates like this. Thank you. Now, fast forward to the rise of the Danza Project, a podcast that branded itself as raw, uncut, and willing to bring guests in to really talk that talk without fear of backlash, a platform that had rappers, influencers, and even rivals come sit down for long conversations. The podcast has been steadily gaining traction, trying to position itself as a space for unfiltered voices. And so naturally, when you mix Charleston White with a show like that, fireworks are guaranteed. According to Charleston White, the invitation was extended, terms were agreed, and he even made it clear that while he typically charges a hefty fee for appearances, he was willing to work with them, lower his price, and bless the platform with a presence that he knows can easily bring hundreds of thousands of views, if not millions. He explained this in his recent video, almost with frustration in his voice, because he didn't just take their money and walk away. He reduced his normal price, made an agreement, delivered on his end by showing up and doing the work. But when it came time to sell the bill, the Danza Project allegedly failed to pay him the full amount they owed. This is where things turn ugly, because Charleston White is not the type of man who takes disrespect lightly, and especially not disrespect in the form of unpaid money. He said multiple times that if there's one thing he doesn't play about, it's business agreements. And this felt like an insult to him, especially because he believed he was already doing them a favor. So, in his video, he announced with that same fiery energy he's known for that he's suing the Danza Project, that legal paperwork is being drawn, and that he's going to make an example out of them. He even went as far as to say, "I know for a fact I'm going to win this legal battle," because in his eyes the facts are simple. There was an agreement, he held up his end, and they didn't pay. In the court of law, that's breach of contract, plain and simple, and Charleston feels like he's holding all the cards. The beauty of Charleston White's delivery is that he always tells a story in a way that makes it larger than life. And in this case, he isn't just saying he got scammed. He's painting a picture of how platforms try to use him for clout, how they know his name brings numbers, how they smile in his face but don't respect his worth when the cameras are off, and how this particular incident with the Danza Project is symbolic of a much bigger problem in the industry. Creators, podcasts, and so-called business people who want the benefit of Charleston White's brand but don't want to pay the price. He called it a scam, plain and simple, and you can hear the frustration in his tone, because this wasn't just about money. It was about principle. If we dig deeper, it becomes clear that Charleston White has a long history of conflict with platforms and personalities. But this one feels different because of his legal teeth to it. When he says he's suing, he means it. He has no problem walking into court, putting on a suit, and letting lawyers handle business. And given how simple breach of contract cases can be when you have evidence, messages, or even recordings of the agreement, Charleston's confidence that he's going to win seems justified. He's already telling his fans and supporters to pay attention, because once the lawsuit is filed, the Danza Project is going to be forced to answer for their actions in front of a judge. But let's also look at this from the perspective of the Danza project. The show has been building a brand off controversy, viral clips, and edgy discussions. And while they might have thought that bringing Charleston White on would elevate their platform, what they didn't count on is the fact that Charleston himself is a master at flipping narratives. What was supposed to be an opportunity for them to shine has now turned into a scandal that could damage their reputation. Charleston's accusations of being scammed make them look unprofessional at best and dishonest at worst. In the age of social media, where narratives spread like wildfire, this could stain their name far beyond this one episode. Now, why is Charleston White so certain he'll win? It comes down to his belief that truth is on his side. He already gave them a discount, which shows generosity. He showed up and delivered content, which means he fulfilled his side of the deal. The missing piece is simply payment. And when you frame it that way, the legal system tends to be straightforward. Charleston isn't suing over hearsay or clout. He's suing over money owed, and in America's courts, that kind of case is usually decided by contracts, receipts, or proof of communication. Charleston seems to have all of that lined up. And if he's as prepared as he sounds, the Danza project may be in serious trouble. This situation also highlights something bigger about Charleston White's evolution as a figure. Years ago, people saw him as just another internet personality talking wild. But now, whether intentional or not, he's becoming a case study in how to control narratives and how to turn personal disputes into public spectacles that fuel his brand. By suing the Danza project and making the whole thing public, he's not just fighting for his money. He's feeding into his larger strategy of keeping his name relevant, keeping the headlines moving, and reminding everyone that he doesn't play when it comes to respect. Another angle worth mentioning is how Charleston White has been underestimated time and time again, only to come out on top.